Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We're excited to have one of our volunteer certified financial planners, Nick, join us today to share his knowledge with us about how to protect our investments right now and some strategies that we should be taking. I'm going to kick us off with just a little brief introduction. If you're not familiar, we are the Cash Campaign in Maryland. My name is Nick Ibello, and I'm the Director of Financial Capability. We provide a range of direct services for low and moderate income families across the state of Maryland. And our mission is to support the economic stability and upward mobility of families. We have lots of free financial education classes. You can check out our Cash Academy website to see our future offerings. We also provide benefit screening so we can see if you're eligible for public assistance programs, help you complete the applications and support you through the process. We also offer a free financial planning service as well as financial coaching. So if you're looking for some financial advice or want some support through your journey as you work towards your financial goals, we are definitely here to help you. And we also provide free tax preparation assistance. All of our services at the moment are being offered virtually or remotely. And you can visit our website at cashmd.org for more information and to find the intake forms for all of those programs and services. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Nick.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Courtney said, my name is Nick Ibello. I am a certified financial planner. I am local in Maryland. I was actually personally born and raised in Maryland as well, grew up in Hunt Valley. The intent of today's webinar is to hit on some of the, main concepts that you should be cognizant of when you're thinking about your investment portfolio. This, of course, comes in the wake of a market pullback that made everyone scared. At the beginning of, let's call it about the third week in February, it really began, and the market went down over 30%. When I say the market, I'll say US stocks. And that was painful. It was not only painful because of the market drawdown, but also because it was associated with a global health epidemic. So not only were we concerned about our portfolio, but also our personal health and safety and those of our family members. So the intent of today's call is for me to just take, Courtney said, about 15 minutes to go through a couple slides that speak to proper portfolio design, as well as what you should or should not be doing when the inevitable market volatility comes. Now, in the spirit, before we even dive in, I would say I'll empathize with listeners by saying we are human beings, and when we feel market duress, we have a physiological reaction, primal, of fight or flight. And we feel like when the market goes down, we need to be doing something. We can't just sit there, right? But the reality is, I think this is Jack Bogle, the late CEO of Vanguard. He said, investing is like a bar of soap. The more you touch it, the smaller it gets. So sometimes the best medicine during those dark days are to simply stay put. But before we get to the dark days, we need to make sure that we have a properly managed portfolio or a properly allocated portfolio. And then during the dark days, we need to know what not to do. So I guess, Courtney, are you driving the slide? Or
I am, yes, so I can click forward for you.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and click forward. So investing needs to be done intentionally. As this slide says, investing is a carefully planned and prepared approach to managing and growing your money. Investing isn't just putting our money in some account and investing in some things that we have know nothing about. It's an analogy I would draw is if you're not into personal fitness and you go to a gym and you walk into the gym, and then there's all of these different machines and all of these different instructors that focus on different things, and you just walk in and you just hop on a machine, you don't know how to use it, you don't know what your goals are, things like that, you're probably not going to get the most out of your workout, but more importantly, what you're trying to achieve with your fitness goals. The same thing goes with investing. You have to go into investing and understand, well, what are my goals for this money? What is my time horizon? What am I trying to achieve? And then when you walk into that investing world, you have to know, or at least understand, all the different products you can invest in. Just like at the gym, you need to know all the different machines and what they do and how they can help better your fitness. There is no shortage of investments out there that you can invest in. But again, true investment success, the foundation of that is understanding, what are my goals? What's my intention for this money? And am I educated enough to just walk into this quote gym of investments and choose the right investments and manage it properly? And if you're not, you need to be seeking help so that you don't hurt yourself. And when I say hurt yourself, again, it draws right back to the analogy of the fitness. You go in, you hop on a machine, and if you don't do it right, potentially you strain something because you did it wrong. Except in the investing world, it damages your portfolio. So again, we want to be really intentional about understanding, what are our goals for our money? What's our time horizon? What are we investing in? So that's the foundation. So we'll go to the next slide. Go back one more. So a lot of people try to predict what's going to happen in the market. They'll say, well, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, there's another good quote that says, leave the forecasting to the astrologers. It has no place in the investing world, because no one has a crystal ball. No one knows what's going to happen in the market. So it's not about, projecting what we think is going to happen. It's about preparation. So this quote here, the key to successful investing isn't trying to predict the future. It's learning from the past, understanding the present, and controlling emotions. As you'll see in the next couple slides, the biggest detriment to successful investing is simply ourselves. We can go to the next one. So when I talked about the investing definition a moment ago, I said we first need to be intentional about, what are our goals, what's our time horizon. So before we jump into the investing waters, we have to understand who we are. Are we an aggressive risk taker by nature, or are we more conservative by nature? And so that's step one, because if we just start diving into the investment waters, we need to make sure that we're controlling our emotions. And if we go into an aggressive investment and we see it going down and we get scared and sell, it's the worst thing we can do. So maybe being aggressive isn't right for you. But if we're in a conservative investment and the market's doing well, and we see that we're not, quote, keeping up, maybe we do not a great thing, which is get more aggressive. And maybe we're potentially buying high now. So step number one is to appreciate, what is my tolerance for risk? Said another way, what is the type of risk classification I should be in, dictated here on the screen, that allows me to both accomplish my goals, but also allows me to sleep at night, right? That is very important, that we need to understand our tolerance for risk. We'll go to the next one. So what we just experienced was really painful. A bear market, which is defined as a market that goes down by 20% in a given year. And so everyone was panicking. So this slide is just to help you appreciate why everyone was panicking. I guess, so, hey, Courtney, are you still with me?
I am.
One thing I'm realizing here is that if you pause your share, because there's a
Okay,
couple things I want to annotate.
sure.
If you pause your share, it
Uh-huh.
will allow, I have the presentation up and it'll allow me to share my screen.
Sure. Do you want to do that?
I'm doing it right now.
All
Yep.
right.
Okay. And you can see this, right, Courtney?
Yeah, perfect.
Okie dokie. Just a couple things I want to annotate as we go through this. So I think I wanted to show this slide just to show everyone, you know, what we went through wasn't a walk in the park. It really was historic. You can see over here that going back to 1950, it shows, well, what are the worst days we've seen in the market? In 1987, we saw a one-day decline where the market went down 20%. And then the second and third worst days since 1950 came last month, right there, 12 and 9.5. So I show you that to empathize. It was tough. We went through a very challenging bear market. Over here, you can see since 1950, we had this shows the weeks. We had a week where we were down 15%. It was the second worst week. Again, it's just showing you that it really was bad. But what you should also see on this screen is that volatility is normal, because there would be no reward if there wasn't any risk. So having that risk reward allows you to accumulate wealth over time. Because again, if there was no risk, you're really not going to make that. They're not going to make a whole lot of money. And the stock market has been a great mechanism to accumulate wealth over time. Now, here's what's interesting. If you take these worst weeks all the way back to 1950, okay, and then you look at the return 1 year later after it, it was up 14.2. Now I have to say the phrase that we know, past performance is no guarantee of future result. We have no idea what's going to happen in the future. But looking at the past at least helps us appreciate what has happened and what we might be able to expect. And it looks like returns have been pretty good after the dark days. Another thing I want to say is I love this break. Up here at the top where it says the quote, "The four most dangerous words in investing are this time it's different." Because every time it's different. It really is. The financial crisis was different. COVID-19 was different. The Twin Towers were different. It's always different. So don't let that be your roadblock that makes you scared, saying this time it's different. Again, we need to understand volatility is normal. This goes back to 2010. It shows every little dip that we've had. 2010, we went down 16, 2011, 19. Okay, the list goes on. Here we are over here, 23.7. But it's going up and down at an increasing rate over time. And so what most people don't realize, and why I have this quote, you make most of your money in a bear market, is that most people get scared here and sell. But that's the best time to buy because everything's on sale. It's like walking into a store and all your favorite things being on sale and you saying, you know what, I want to get out of here. I don't like this sale. I want you to be able to buy into that sale. Get these investments while they're at a lower cost. Another slide that speaks to volatility. What this slide shows, let me just get my little, what this slide shows, every red dot is how much did the market go down in a given year, intra-year. But then the gray box is, well, what did it end the year return-wise? So in 1980, there was a point in time during the year where the market went down 17%, but it ended the year up 26. So said in a sentence, when you average all this out, it is considered normal when you go, if you go back to 1980. If the stock market goes down by 13.8% in a given year, that's considered normal. So do not let volatility derail you. Just because it went down doesn't mean it's going to end down. Another example, if you look at this year, the market was down 6% at some point in the year, but it ended up 30. So keep on going. I love this. Let me see if I can just move this. What a lot of people do during the markets is they get scared. And the market goes down and they think they need to do something. And I want to go more conservative, or I got to sell, it keeps going down. What this chart shows is the dark blue here shows flows. So it tracks what are investors, are they going in? Are they going out? And if it's above this line, oh goodness, that was not a good line. Let's try that again. If it's above this middle line, it means money was going in. If it's below this line, it means money was going out. And so if you look back at history, it just shows we as human beings are horrible market timers. Take a look here. The market went up substantially in 2003, and look at all the people piling money in, right? Piling money in right at the top. And then it went down. Another good example. Look, the market's going down. Everyone's getting scared, right? They're taking all of their money out down here, right? They're scared. But if they would have put their money in here, then they would have taken advantage of the huge market upswing that came. Final example, in 2018, at the end of 2018 when the market went down, everyone's pouring money out. But then in 2019, it was a historic stock market year, and everyone missed out. Point is, no one can time the market, so don't try. And there's my quote: your success in investing will depend in part on your character and guts, and in part on your ability to realize at the height of enthusiasm and at the depths of despair alike, this too shall pass. So we want to make sure, like I said at the beginning, we have the right risk model that we're in: conservative, moderately conservative, moderate, moderately aggressive, or aggressive, so that we don't bail during the dark days. Another reason why it's hard to market time is because if you miss just the best couple days, it severely affects your long-time return. So this goes from 1999 through 2018. If you just stayed if you invested $10,000 and you stayed invested, you got a return of 5.62% per year. But if you got scared and you were trying to time the market and pull it out and then put it back in, and you missed just the 10 best days, your return was more than halved. And by the way, 6 of those best 10 days occurred within 2 weeks of the 10 worst days. So when they say the phrase, it's darkest just before dawn, it may be true in the investing world. Another mistake I see clients make is that they anchor to a rate of return. They say to themselves, well, I want to get 8% per year because this thing has made on average 8% per year. But 8% per year comes a lot of different ways. Going back to 1926, the S&P 500, so the US stocks, the stock market, achieved 10% per year if you looked backwards in time and averaged out the return. But the reality is that it only actually got an actual 10% rate of return in 6 of those years. Some of the times you were down more than 20%. Some of the times you were up more than 20%. So don't anchor to a rate of return. It's good. If someone says, I can get you 10% per year, A, don't believe them, but B, more importantly, know that how you achieve that rate of return is going to be different every given year. All right. This just shows why you should avoid market timing. This shows all the different things you can invest in. And look over here at this average investor. The average investor did worse than bonds, diversified portfolio, the market, oil, gold, real estate, because they tried to time the market. So, as you can see, and I love the quotes, far more money has been lost by investors trying to anticipate the correction than has actually been lost in the correction itself. Another few quotes here. People that try to time the market say, I'll just wait. I'll just wait till it gets better. If it's already gotten better, you missed out. The idea that a bell rings to signal when to get into or out of the stock market is not credible. After 50 years in the business, I don't know anybody who has done it successfully or consistently. I don't even know anybody who knows anybody who has. So the best way to measure your investing success is not by whether you're beating the market, but it's whether you've put a plan in place and are you able to control your behavior. So I'm getting close to my 15% here, or my 15%, talking in percentages, my 15 minutes here. So I want to just end with a few things about controlling what you can control, and especially during volatile times and duress. Your health and your family are far more important than the movements in the stock market, especially during this COVID-19 world. All of this stays true. Your career and your ability to earn money and save money will prove to be more important to your long-term financial health than what happens to the stocks. Your savings rate and the level of risk you take that allows you to sleep at night during the dark days and not have fear of missing out during the euphoric days is very important. Financial planning, something that Cash Campaign prides itself on helping individuals with, can help provide you with a roadmap to help you accomplish your financial goals. We want to ensure that you have adequate control what you can control, right? We're talking about doing things we're talking about making smart investment decisions, smart financial decisions during volatile times. Ensure you have adequate cash reserves. These are things that we can control to an extent. Ensure you're taking advantage of the lowest interest rates on your debt. Have you refinanced your mortgage interest rate? If you have credit card rate, have you tried to move that to a non-interest bearing credit card? Ensure you're maximizing your employer match in your retirement account with your company. A lot of the times there's free matches. So even if you're only putting in, a couple $100 a year, maybe there's a match and you're missing out on because you're not contributing. So make sure you're maximizing your match. If you're not investment savvy, in your retirement accounts, there are investments called target date funds, which are designed to be diversified without you having to do anything. Just invest in those, the ones that most closely align to your retirement date. So if you want to retire in 20 years, and right now it's the year 2020, you would invest in the target date 2040 fund. Oh, I think there were. So with that, I just want to pause and I will, that's about my 15 minutes. So let me, Courtney, I will stop the share and now you should be able to go back and share your screen.
Great. Thank you so much, Nick. If you have any questions, you can place those in the chat box. I'm going to pull the PowerPoint back up on my end of things so that I can talk a little bit more about how to get connected with some of the services that Cash has to offer, as well as some resources that are available too. Nick mentioned that to make sure that you take advantage of your employer match, one of the things that we want to make sure that folks know that they can take advantage of as well is money that the state of Maryland has made available to actually make investing easy for folks, particularly if they have limited resources and if they are interested in saving for college or for higher education. So if you're not familiar, the state of Maryland has a program called Save for College. It's connected with Maryland 529 College Investment Plan. A 529 works very similarly to a 401k or a 403b account. You can select a target date fund, or there's a lot of different portfolios that you can choose from. This is just a brief disclaimer. We're not affiliated with the Maryland 529 program, just really wanting to share this information for folks and make sure that they can take advantage of this free money that's on the table from the state. So a 529 plan, really briefly, is a tax advantage savings plan. It's specifically designed to help encourage people to save for future education expenses. So if you've got some kids who are thinking, maybe going to college, or if you want to go back to school so that you can maybe increase your income, have develop some new skills, then a 529 would be a great way for you to invest in your future education. The way that the program works is that the savings in the program can be used at pretty much any public, private, or technical college, and even some international universities for qualified education-related expenses. So this includes tuition, fees, room and board, computers or art supplies if you're in art school. The IRS has a list of approved education-related expenses. You're eligible if you're opening the account for a beneficiary, and must be a Maryland resident. And depending on your income, there are minimum contribution guidelines. So if your family earned $75,000 or less if you're jointly filing, or if as an individual you're filing, and you earned $50,000 or less last year, you just have to contribute $25 to open this 529 investment portfolio, and then apply for the state to contribute through the Save for College program. And the state contribution in this instance is $500. So for a $25 one-time investment, the state will contribute $500. The wonderful thing about this program is that you can actually apply every year as long as this program exists. So each year you make your minimum contribution based on your taxable income from last year. And then you apply for the state to make their contribution. And when I say apply, the application is really simple. You can do it all online from the comfort of your home. But it is really important to make sure that you apply by May 31st. So you have until May 31st to open the account and apply. You have until November 1st to actually make your minimum contribution. So the steps are really easy. You open the Maryland College Investment Account. You only have to do this one time. You then submit the application for the state contribution program. It'll prompt you to actually do this when you open your account online. And again, you have until May 31st to submit your application. And then you need to make your minimum contribution to the accounts that you're applying for no later than November 1st. So if you've got 2 or 3 kids, you can open an account for each of your kids, make the designated contribution to each of those accounts, and then apply for the state to contribute. To learn more and to actually submit the application, you'll visit maryland529.com/saveforcollege. And if you're, didn't fully understand, or, have a lot more questions about how this works, if a 529 program is right for you, Cash actually has certified financial planners like Nick who volunteer their time to be able to talk you through this process to make sure that it's right for you. They can actually give you the investment advice that you're looking for. So if you are interested in learning more, you want to figure out how this fits in with your retirement planning or getting out of debt, Nick or one of our other financial planners would be happy to talk to you. So again, you'll just visit our website, Maryland, or cashmd.org, excuse me. We will send out the links for signing up to meet with a certified financial planner. as well as the Maryland 529 program for everyone that registered for this webinar later today. So look out for that email in your inbox. And if there's no other questions, I'll just open up the chat box quickly to see if anyone's got any questions. It doesn't look like it. Oh, I do have one question. So someone says, great presentation. I'm not sure if this is a kind of market timing thing, but when the market is high, I save more in high yield savings, adding to the emergency fund, or made extra house payments, in addition to save some market retirement savings. Now that the market is down, I divert more monthly savings to market and stopped extra house payments. Nick, do you want to weigh in on that strategy?
Yeah, I just want to see if I'm looking to see if let me just see if, I guess I didn't catch the question. I'm not sure if it's kind of.
It's more of they're wondering if, so it sounds like when the market is doing well, they tend to try to save more in their savings account and their emergency fund and make extra house payments. But then when the market goes down, they actually switch it and make more contributions to
got it. Yeah. So unfortunately, I'd probably have to give you the unsatisfactory "it depends" answer. And the reason is because, as you think about your financial planning, we think about, the end game is retirement. We want to get to this point where we can live the lifestyle that we want in retirement. And to live that lifestyle that we want, we are going to need to have accumulated a certain amount of money. So while I feel like I don't have any issue with the strategy that you've presented there, I would still, even when the market's high, I would still encourage you to be dollar cost averaging into the market, even if it's at a reduced rate.
What does that mean, Nick? What is dollar cost averaging?
Yeah, so dollar cost averaging is making systematic, ongoing contributions into your investment account to take advantage of market dips. Because as I said, so we saw on the chart, when markets will go down, but then they've always come back up. So dollar cost averaging is on a monthly basis through your retirement plan or an investment account that you have, is incrementally buying in to the dip. Because the name of the game is buy low, sell high. So if you're contributing to your accounts on a monthly basis and the market's going down, you're buying in at each a little bit lower, you're buying in a little bit lower. And then when the market goes back up, you have taken advantage of those lower prices. So over long periods of time, that can help your ability to accumulate wealth without having to time anything.
So your recommendation is to try to keep contributions to investment portfolios relatively consistent, regardless of what the market is doing. Although I will say, from Cash's very biased perspective, we love an emergency fund, and a solid emergency fund is critical. So, kudos to you on making sure that you have that in good shape when the market is doing well, so that you're in good shape when the economy is not so well.
Yep, and I'll echo that sentiment again, and that's why it's part of one of my slides. One of the first things, control what we can control, make sure we have enough cash. I love the idea of having 3 to 6 months of your monthly living expenses in cash. So if it costs you $2,000 to live your life per month, then I want 3 to 6 times that amount liquid, whether the market's going up or down.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Does that answer your question?
I think it does. Feel free to let us know in the chat box. Yeah, they say yes. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for joining us today, for sharing your expertise. Again, look out for an email from us later today that's got links to let you know how you can sign up for your own one-on-one consultation with one of our certified financial planner volunteers. And for our upcoming webinars that we've got ones coming up on how to plan your stimulus payment, other just great topics that are really relevant right now. So thank you again, Nick, for joining us. And
you're welcome.
We will see everyone later. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye.